Have you ever had a moment in your life where you had so many thoughts and feelings swirling around in your head, none of which were good? And did it ever get to the point where you were constantly indecisive about outcomes to situations you built up in your mind? You were tired and on edge and lost all your creativity. For me, this is my life, and I'm in a constant state of worry, overthinking everything I do from scenarios and situations that may or may not happen, or questioning my own self worth. And this not only affects me, but other people out there, even you that's watching this. Hello everyone, I'm Olivia Gavlak, and in today's presentation, I will be informing you on the effects of overthinking. And as I mentioned, overthinking affects everyone. In an article by Forbes Health, research suggests 73% of 25 to 35-year-olds chronically overthink, along with 52% of people ages 45 to 55. And in many cases, overthinking can show up as rumination. This is best defined as repetitive thinking or dwelling on negative feelings and distress and their causes and consequences. So, why is this important to know? Well, the impact overthinking has on a person's life has long-term effects that everyone should know about. And I know for me, I would want people in my life to understand what goes through my mind and how it affects my day-to-day life. And not enough people put enough emphasis on how much overthinking affects a person's everyday life. It's not classified as a mental disorder. However, there are many factors that cause someone to overthink, and the effects on a person's mental, physical, and emotional health can be drastic and sometimes harmful. So, I will be informing you about how overthinking affects a person's mental health, such as rising problems with anxiety and depression, physical health, including lack of sleep and a decrease in energy, and finally, emotional health, how overthinking impairs creativity and problem solving. First, I want to address an important aspect in a person's life, and that is mental health and how overthinking affects it. With overthinking, problems arise in a person's mental health, including anxiety and depression. And in some cases, it may be good to analyze your emotions and hash out what you're thinking. However, this is not always the be-all, end-all. This is because when a person overthinks about one thing, this allows the mind a chance to make the person feel worse about themselves. In an article from the American Psychiatric Association, when a person ruminates while in a depressed mood, they are more likely to remember more negative things that happened to them in the past, they interpret situations in their current lives more negatively, and they are more hopeless about the future. All of this negative thinking leads a person to having a low self-worth and putting themselves at risk of debilitating depression and persistent anxiety. And alongside a person's mental health, physical health is just as important, and when overthinking is involved, it can cause drastic problems. Overthinking can cause issues with a person's physical health, including lack of sleep and a decrease in energy. Because a person is constantly overthinking at every waking moment, that means their brain is not shut off, especially when they're trying to get sleep. I know I can relate to this because I get less and less sleep every night because I am constantly thinking. My mind is racing with thoughts and I can't shut it off. And with that lack of sleep comes a loss of energy. And according to an article from the Huffington Post, mental energy without any sort of physical outlet absolutely can make it fatiguing and make it feel like you're exhausted because you spent so much time in your own head. This literally means it's physically exhausting to be hashing out all the negatives to every problem going through a person's mind. And finally, we have emotional health. And this is so important when overthinking impairs it because many issues arise from it. Overthinking would be a good thing if you were trying to problem solve or think on your toes for a project. However, this can end up being overwhelming and cause your brain to shut down completely. In an article for the Huffington Post, Julia Rise talks about some of the effects overthinking has on a person's emotional health. She says overthinking creates so many options, choices, and scenarios that you end up unable to make a decision, a concept called analysis paralysis. This means that all the racing thoughts going through an individual's mind, the ability to distinguish between what is hypothetical and what needs to be decided on, can become stunned and almost frozen in place. So how can we stop or break away from this infinite cycle of impending thoughts? There are ways that can help you break away from overthinking. Now, not all of these things will help everyone universally. However, these are just some examples of how to overcome overthinking. One example is distracting yourself, and that's easier said than done, but it can help break your thought cycle. This may include doing chores, walking outside, reading, or even watching your favorite movie or TV show. Meditation may not work for everyone, but it does help clear your mind when your thoughts are looping in your mind. Talking to somebody, whether that be a friend, family member, or even a therapist, can help as they can offer insight that could help break your thought cycle. And finally, taking 10 to 15 minutes out of your day to write down how you are feeling and what is going through your mind can help you take action in addressing your thoughts. As someone who constantly lives my life like this, trying to break away is hard. However, if you create a support system and a lifestyle that meets your needs, it'll make your life a little easier. Thank you for watching.